Do you trust yourself? Or do you even know yourself? Is a better question. I was just doing an incredible ECT session with one of our LRA private clients, and ECT, for those of you who aren't familiar yet, is emotional change technique. It's where we actually go back and rewire your unconscious programming that has created maybe all of the unsatisfactory experiences in your current life experience, and clear it up and transform what happened back then so that you become a totally different version and better version and more equipped version and less triggered version of yourself now, to put it in a nutshell. And we were talking about it after and how fascinating it is, like, to really feel the neuro changes, like the neuro pathways in our brain actually changing direction and creating new pathways. Like, you can actually feel it when you do these processes. Like, your brain is just working in overdrive because it's like, oh my God, we're going in a different direction. We're no longer attending to anger or fear or sadness or hurt or guilt or shame or blame or any of it, because we've cleared that. And now there's all these new pathways being formed. And she was saying, like, it's kind of scary. Like, what's going to go there? Like, what do I do now? Like, who am I? And the beauty is that so many humans don't actually know who they are if you ask them, because most of us are just running the programs and repeating things from parents, family, whoever raised us, the society that we're in, the religion that we're in, the family that we're in, whatever it is. A lot of us are just repeating things. We haven't actually sat long enough to be like, what do I, as a sovereign individual human being, want for my life? How do I want to live? How do I want to experience the world? How do I want to show up? And because most of us haven't decided who we are, we don't necessarily have this trust in our awareness, in our mind, in our possibilities, in our capabilities, and therefore we don't have confidence. Because we've never really sat there and gone, this is who I am. I'm putting my stake in the ground. I know who I am. I love who I am. I love what I'm becoming. I love what I'm working towards. I love that I've released so much of the past that doesn't serve me. Like, really, when you can make that decision and that decide to design who you are moving forward, that's where real trust comes in itself. And that's where you know that, once you do this incredible change work, if you do decide to work with me at any stage, once you've cleared the past and there's no more triggers and there's no more pain to go back to and keep looping to, you get to trust that all of those things that you want to be, all those things that you want to experience from others, is right there. And you're actually forming the neural pathways to recognize and find evidence of and find the way to get there, if that makes sense. And the way that we, design who we are is all of the identity practices that I teach. There's some in this group, or if you join LRA for a membership, you'll be able to dive deep into all of that with me. ECT and NLP. So Neurolinguistic Programming is the story that we're constantly hypnotizing ourselves with. And when you're constantly convincing yourself and probably the world around you that you're sick, that you're broke, that you're lonely, that you're depressed, that you're whatever it is that you're constantly saying, the story that you tell about yourself in your mind and out loud, that is what's creating your life. You're creating more of it. You're finding more of it. You're experiencing more of it, and you're generating more of it if you're constantly hypnotizing your unconscious mind that is your story, that is your reality. So in order to change our unconscious mind, in order to change the self so it's geared towards the things that we actually want to experience in life, we do NLP work, we do ECT, emotional change work, so that we actually clear the initial problems and we create the story that we're going to start hypnotizing ourselves with in the future, so that when we hypnotize our unconscious mind with it, our reticular activating system finds more evidence of that hypnotism in the world rather than the hypnotism that might have been put onto you by people from the past. And then we get to transform the self. And here's the thing, is so many people are afraid of change. They're afraid of being different. They're afraid of doing something new. And yet we're literally here to change. Like, that's the whole point Like, your physical body becomes a totally new human every 7 years because of regeneration. So why are we not doing that with our unconscious programs? Why are we not doing that with how we show up as a human being and our attributes and our traits and the way that we treat others, the way that we speak to ourselves and others, the way that we look after our body, the way that we feel emotionally? We can change all of that and we can transform it so that it's actually geared towards the person that we want to be, or maybe the person that we need to become to attract or create all the things that we want, whether that's more money, better health, better relationships, an island in the Bahamas, whatever it is. And so as an example, before I wrap it up, like, I, in the past, had multiple different labels of chronic illness and mental illness and all these different things that I was attempting to be medicated for, but I refused. And when I started learning about NLP about 5 years ago, directly from Tony Robbins, and then I've expanded since with my studies, it all started with changing the story. And yes, I did some things with my lifestyle. Like, I, very rarely drink. I eat really well. I supplement well. I do all the things, right? And I still have fun. I still enjoy life. And between the lifestyle changes and the story change, where I stopped talking about everything that was wrong and I replaced it with a new story with new towards vision conversation skills, I literally eradicated all of the chronic illness from my body. All of it. Doctors didn't know what to do about it. They were just like, spontaneous remission. Great. Don't worry. See ya. Good luck. They didn't even want to know. Anyway, that's a different subject. And the same with money. I was raised in a household where money was this constant undercurrent of stress and anxiety, where we never had enough. We lost our house. We had to move so many times. We lost all of our money. We went bankrupt. All of these things happened when I was young. And on the outside, I didn't necessarily have anything horrific happen. We were never homeless. And it was this constant energetic undercurrent in our household. So for my whole life, I was under the impression that money was fleeting, that money was evil, that rich people were bad, that all of these things that had been said around me and programmed into me to make me think that I couldn't attract money, that when you get money, it all disappears, that you've got to always pay the man, all these different things. And by changing the story, you guys, the unconscious and conscious story, the thing that we hypnotize ourselves with constantly, and the stories and the programs that maybe aren't even ours, when we can transform and change them, what you experience transforms and change. Like, I have manifested large amounts of money in the randomest ways. I remember getting $1,000 into my bank account one morning when I had nothing left. And I just decided to be like, screw it. I'm changing the story about this. I'm not going to be stressed about this. I'm changing the story that I'm actually completely supported. I'm going to go out and have fun tonight. And I did. And I woke up to $1,000 in my bank account from 10 years of incorrect bank fees. And the bank had been taken to court for the last 2 years. And that was the specific day that they were paying all the clients back. I had no idea that any of that was going on. I just got the money in my account. I also got $4,000 extra on my tax return one year because I'd accidentally ticked the wrong box, and for a whole year was going, why do I get paid so little? But it didn't really matter because I was already in poverty mindset, so I just managed. Never asked the question. And at the time of most need, when I was about to pack up all my things and travel to Central America for the year, I got an extra $4,000 in my tax return. Those are just two of the many, many different ways I have attracted money in my bank account, free things from friends or companies, support from people, like so many things in the way of money and funds and support in that way, because I changed my story. I changed my story around money. And you can too. And that's the coolest thing. So if you're not ready to do coaching to actually delve deep into your specifics and clear them specifically, then change the story somehow. Start absorbing more of my content. Start absorbing more content from people who talk about money mindset, who talk about the energetics around money, who talk about the same in regards to health or in regards to relationships, wherever you're at, whatever it is specifically in your life you're wanting to change and transform to become the version of yourself that gets all the things that you want. That's the key. And it's so fun and so exhilarating, so exciting. I'm so excited to welcome a couple of girls into LRA this week. They have invested in themselves for the next 3 months, and it's so beautiful to see people taking a step for themselves when it's scary and they don't necessarily know how it's going to work out, because sometimes we don't know for sure how we're going to generate the money. And as soon as you're inside the program, there's ways to do that, which is great. So I am going to leave it there for now. It's lovely to see you all. If you resonate with this video, make sure you drop a comment or drop what came up for you while listening to this. Did it make sense? Did it not make sense? Do you disagree? Do you agree? Let me know in the comments. Share it around, and I will see you guys all soon.